going to look at some different rhythm styles that I use in Delta and Texas blues, which are the majority of what I sing, and just going to kind of explain them and see how they're useful and how they interact with everything else going on. So I want to start out very basic. We're going to go to Mance Lipscomb's monotonic bass. And all that means is you're basically going to keep a 4 count on the bottom string of whatever chord you're on. So for instance, I'm in open D tuning. That's D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. This is the 6th string. This is the 1st string. So on the 6th string, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can mute it like I'm doing or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's look at how that interacts. Now, what's useful about that is you can do a lot on the upper strings while you're just counting 4 because you're just keeping a beat. And that's all you're trying to do. So let's look at the intro, for instance, to Titanic. I just gave a lesson on that last week. I'm not going to use the jackknife, but here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, so you can see that really frees up your other fingers to do other things. You can get syncopated with it. Let me just do an example of some improvisation. It's very useful. Now also, I will add, I like the sound of a fuller monotonic bass, so a lot of times I'll add maybe 6 and 5 or even 6, 5, and 3. You can even switch chords. So that's really cool. That's very basic. So next, let's take a look at when he starts doing alternating picking. Okay, folks, so as you can see, I have switched over to my standard tuned guitar, and we're going to look at Red River. Which Way Do Red River Run by Mance Lipscomb to talk about alternating bass patterns. Okay, and all that is where you're taking the thumb on the bottom string, and oh yeah, standard tuning, if you don't know, is E, A, D, G, B, E. This is the 6th, this is the 1st. So I'm going to make an E chord. Some people call that a pinch, some people call it a grip. A lot of times, Mance would only play the E chord, and he was very exacting about what strings he hit in alternating tuning by he would leave out the 5th string so that he could stretch his fingers around, and he would put his 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, his 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, so that he could bring his pinky up to hit part of his, to hit part of the melodies that he was playing. So I usually just do it like this, and I can still hit the pinky, and it's because that's what I'm used to, and that's how I was taught. So excuse me, but when you watch his videos, which I would really say go out and watch him, because he's one of the few blues players, him, Sunhouse, there's a couple others, that we can actually sit and watch their fingers and watch them play and see how they practice their craft. Okay, so back to this, alternate picking. Now, this is a very basic form of alternate picking. Okay, and that is where you're going to take your thumb and play the bottom note of whatever chord you're on, in this case E, so we're going to play the 6th string, and then we're going to play the 4th string with our finger on the 2nd fret. Now something I got when I learned Deep River Blues by Doc Watson, he starts by playing the 4th and 3rd string together for that 2nd part. So he does the E string or the 6th string, and then he does the 4th and 3rd string. And I'm one of these guitar players, once I get used to something, that's kind of what I use. So I do it that way. But Mance only played All right, so let's look at how Robert Johnson took rhythm several leaps forward from where Mance Lipscomb was doing. And he played and started using a shuffle a lot in his playing. And I like Kindhearted Woman because it's kind of like, to me, when I listen to Kindhearted Woman, it's between that monotonic bass, maybe work song type thing, and it's moving into being a shuffle. And I used this rhythm a lot. I used it a lot when I first started playing because I didn't really play that much slide in blues, believe it or not, when I first started. Okay, so let me just play through a chorus of Kindhearted Woman, and I will let you see it, and you can understand what I'm saying. You see how he has that feel going on. So he has a tendency also to play almost like a monotonic bass, but to change the feel of it into a shuffle by going bump, ba, bump, ba, bump, ba, bump. And that's basically where you're taking a quarter note, dividing it into a triplet. So you've got a quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4, triplets, triplet, 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 triplet. Then he's leaving out the middle beat of the triplet. Dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, triplet, 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 triplet. And he's going. Excuse me on that last part. But a lot of that he gets from what he's doing in the upper strings too. Excuse me. So here's what he's doing. So for all that, really, he's just playing an A chord, and he does this fingering on that song, as I've heard. Now, of course, you can't watch Robert Johnson play anywhere. So basically, I take my first finger and bar from the fourth to the first string, and then my pinky, and I lay it up here on the top so I can hit it and let it ring open. Right? And then I'm just going on the bottom two strings of the chord. So 4 and 3. And sometimes hitting the third string as well. Then for the D chord formation in that song, he takes his middle finger, puts it on the second fret of the 6th string. He leaves the 5th and 4th strings open. Then he takes his third finger, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and his first finger, 1st fret of the 2nd string. And I love that fingering. And I went through a book once and read about how he did it. And because I you know, when you listen to the old recordings, sometimes you can't tell. And he kind of just played 6, 5, 4, and 3 and gave it that little shuffle feel. And he would do a little, and all he's doing there is picking 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 2nd string. So now on that next part of it, he actually moves up and he's getting some of the feel. Now that's almost like a lead thing, but it does contribute to the rhythm of the tune. So all he's doing is playing an A7th up at the 5th fret. And the way I do this, again, you cannot watch him do it. The way I do this, I put my first finger on the 5th fret on the 4th string, my third finger on the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and my second finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And then I play the 1st string open. So he's going. All right, so what's that? That he moves his, or I move my, I'm not going to pretend to be him. I move my 2nd finger down to the 5th fret on the 1st string and catch that. Here we go. And then I'm moving the whole chord from the 4th string, 3rd, 2nd, down, moving that whole movement down to the 4th fret, and then just go. Now that little movement up will give you some of that shuffle. We'll do that again. And then he goes to an E. D, so he's doing an E7th there. Okay, E7th. And again, really the important part is, what am I doing with my thumb? I'm just keeping that shuffle. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, right? So he's going to put the bottom string, the 6th string's going to be open, 2nd fret on the 5th, 2nd fret on the 4th. I use my 2nd finger on the 5th, 3rd finger on the 4th, 1st finger on the 3rd string on the 1st fret, and then I take my pinky and put it on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And then basically I'm going 1, 2, 1, right, to get some of that shuffle feel. Okay, and that's how he did that. And you can do all kinds of things with this if you want to keep the shuffle going. So say you just play the bottom note of the chord. So the important thing is to keep the bump, bump going, right? Behind your singing, behind your soloing. So there's an example of that, Kindhearted Woman. I would encourage you to go listen to it so you can really hear what he's doing while he's singing, because there's a lot going on there. All right, and for the last example, I want to talk about Blind Lemon Jefferson. I had Blind Willie Johnson in my head. Blind Lemon Jefferson. And we're going to talk about how he uses mirroring in his rhythm. And that's where he's picking and doing a lot of alternate finger picking, but then he's mirroring the vocal line, right? The melody. So let me play it for you. Okay, that's called Easy Rider Blues. Now, there's a lesson on Easy Rider Blues in the lesson series where you can get a lot more detail on it and all that good stuff. But for now, I just want to concentrate on the rhythm. All right. Now, what is he doing? This is what you call too many different songs in the head at one time. All right, so he's going 5. Oh, and by the way, I do this tuned in open G. He does it in standard. So I'm showing you the way that I play it. He goes 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. That's the rhythm, right? It's kind of almost like a ragtime. That is simply, he's going open 2, 3rd fret on 3, open 2, 3rd fret on 2. And the rhythm is ba 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 while he's going bum 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 ba 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 ba. Then I take and go. Now what's that? I'm simply sliding up to the 5th fret on the 1st and 2nd strings, and I'm going 2, 1, 2, and then I'm sliding up to the 4th fret on the 3rd string, and I'm taking my 2nd finger and catching the 3rd fret on the 3rd string and playing behind the slide and going 3, 2, 3, open 3. All right, so. I accidentally left that out when I showed you the example, but he does do a little 7th chord, which I usually just grab with my 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And then I simply slide up and use the slide across 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and I'll play. Now, I have a tendency to go to monotonic at that point with this song, and it goes by pretty quickly. He did not. When you listen to his version where he's finger picking everything, he stays in that ragtime feel where it would be something like that. But I go. So what was that anyway? Okay, so I slide up to the 5th fret, and then I simply play 3, 2, 1. Ba, ba, ba. And then back to that other little lick. Play it twice. And then I go to the 7th fret. All right, now, when he plays this, he goes like that. I just do it like. So I'm going up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 at the 7th fret. And going 2, 1, 2, ba ba ba, 1, 2, 3, 4, ba ba ba, with my upper fingers and my thumbs going. And that's the whole thing. All right, so let me play through it one more time, and then I'm going to give you a basic exercise to practice to help you get your fingers moving. Because the main thing that you need when you're playing rhythm and Delta blues, Piedmont blues, Texas blues, whatever kind of blues you're playing where you're playing fingerstyle, the ability to play, but you know, kind of like be offbeat with it, right? Not play the normal types of rhythms, because these guys didn't. They did things where they taught themselves, and it was very much them that you were hearing. All right, so here it goes again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now there's another tune where mirroring is used, and that's all that's in the rhythm. And I want you to go check it out if you get a chance. It's on my lesson series on that playlist, and it's a Sunhouse tune, and I believe it's called See That My Grave Is Kept Clean. And you'll know it because it'll be the one that goes. So anyway, check it out. Have a good week. Enjoy this stuff. If you have any questions, hit me up. And just to let you know, this was a request from somebody for me to show you the different kinds of rhythm guitar that I use when I'm doing my blues. So if you have a request for something, reach out to me. Message me at the Jazz Guitar Joe Bourgeois. Message me on TikTok. Anywhere we are. Twitter. If you have a request, hit me up. I will do it. All right. Have a great week, everybody, and keep on learning.